England is packed with famous sites, but visiting some of them can be expensive. Sightseeing passes claim to save you money, but do they really? In this video, I'll compare the main sightseeing passes for visitors to London and elsewhere in England. I'll look at which attractions they include and help you decide whether they're worth it. And I've saved the best for last, so stay tuned till the end of the video to find out about a pass that you may not have heard about before. First off, let's take a look at the most popular sightseeing pass. If you're planning a trip to England, then you've probably heard about the London Pass. The London Pass gives you 1 to 10 days unlimited access to around 100 attractions in and around London. While some of the included attractions are places you simply wouldn't go to, there are a lot of great attractions included with the pass. Some of these include a one-day Uber boat ticket, the Cutty Sark, Eltham Palace, Hampton Court Palace, Kensington Palace, Kew Gardens, the London Transport Museum, the London Zoo, the Royal Observatory Greenwich, a tour of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, the Painted Hall at the Old Royal Naval College, St Paul's Cathedral, the Tower of London, Westminster Abbey and Windsor Castle. The more expensive London Pass Plus also includes a one-day ticket for the Big Bus, the London Eye, Madame Tussauds and the View from the Shard. While the London Pass includes a lot of London's top attractions, it's not cheap and it doesn't include everything. A one-day pass costs a whopping £89, £119 if you opt for the Plus version. I'd be really impressed if anyone can get any value out of that. The price per day drops the longer your pass is valid, but it doesn't really start to make sense for most people unless you buy the 5, 6, 7 or 10-day pass. At this point, the cost per day drops to $32.80 for a 5-day pass, £29 for a 6-day pass, £27 for a 7-day pass, and $21.40 for a 10-day pass. The goal is to get more value from your London Pass than you would otherwise spend on sightseeing each day. Otherwise, it's simply not worth it. Before buying a London Pass, you need to be realistic. How much can you actually visit in a day? Some attractions like Kew Gardens, the Tower of London or Windsor Castle can take around half a day to see properly, and that leaves you with less time to use your pass on other attractions. To get your money's worth, you need to pack the rest of your day with visits to other attractions that take up less of your time, but it's only really saving you money if these are attractions that you would have paid to see in the first place. You also need to factor in that most tourist attractions in London close their doors after around 5 p.m, and that doesn't leave you much time to get value from your pass. However, you can use your pass to go to the cinema after all the museums have closed for the day. Also, don't forget that many of London's top attractions are completely free, so you need to schedule more time in London to visit these attractions on days when your pass isn't valid. That means that you really need to spend about twice as much time in London as your pass is valid for. The London Pass does have some strong points though. It's a great option for families, as it gets you into expensive attractions that appeal to younger visitors, including tacky tourist traps like Madame Tussauds and the London Bridge Experience. Although you'll need the London Pass Plus to get into Madame Tussauds. It's also a great option if you love stadium tours. The London Pass includes tours of the Oval and Wembley Stadium, as well as home grounds for Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur and West Ham football clubs. Most stadium tours take a little over an hour and cost between £20 and £30. If you play your cards right, you might just get your money's worth from stadium tours. Except you probably won't. It's simply impossible to tour all these stadiums on a tight schedule. Unlike some other cities, London stadiums are not clustered together, so you'll be spending more time on public transport travelling between stadiums than you'll actually spend touring them. While there's no doubt that the London Pass works really well for a lot of people, it's not for everyone, and many people would simply be better off buying their tickets as they go. However, if you're spending a couple of weeks in London and you're buying a 5 to 10-day pass, then you may be able to just make this work. Before you rule out sightseeing passes altogether, the London Pass is not the only game in town. Other options include the Go City Explorer Pass, the Merlin Annual Pass, English Heritage Overseas Visitor Pass, National Trust Membership, Historic Houses Membership, and the National Art Pass. The Go City Explorer Pass comes from the same people who sell the London Pass, but it works a little differently. Instead of buying a pass where you get unlimited sightseeing for a set number of days, you buy access to a set number of attractions and you have 60 days to visit all the attractions that your pass gives you access to. You can buy a pass with access to 2 to 7 attractions, but the cost per attraction doesn't really drop below £30 until you buy a 4-attraction pass. This could work for you if you're planning on visiting at least 4 attractions that you would otherwise spend more than £30 to visit. But don't waste your money and use the pass to visit somewhere that would have cost you less than the per attraction cost of your pass. It's unlikely that you'll get value from this pass, as you need to use it on at least 4 attractions that would normally cost you at least £30. That's a lot of money, even for London. While the London Pass and the Go City Explorer Pass include a few attractions outside London, they're overwhelmingly focused on London. However, there are a few other passes that cover the entire country, and they may be worth it if you're taking a longer trip that's not just limited to London. The Merlin Annual Pass is exclusively for access to attractions operated by Merlin Entertainments. This includes the London Eye, 10 different sea life aquariums throughout the UK, plus tacky tourist traps like the Dungeons and Madame Tussauds. It also gets you into attractions outside London, like the Blackpool Tower, Cadbury World near Birmingham, and Warwick Castle. However, the real value with this pass is that it gets you into 4 of England's biggest theme parks: Alton Towers, Chessington World of Adventures, Legoland Windsor, and Thorpe Park. The price varies from £99 to £299. The main difference between the different passes being that the cheapest option is for off-peak access only, and the most expensive pass gets you into every day that the attractions are open. These are mostly family-friendly attractions, and if you don't have kids, then you'll probably exhaust all the possibilities after a visit to the London Eye and Warwick Castle. However, the £99 pass could be a great deal for a family travelling around England in the off-season. It's also a great deal if you live close to one of Merlin's theme parks. The English Heritage Overseas Visitor Pass and English Heritage Membership are a great deal if you want to visit historic attractions that are operated by English Heritage. These consist mostly of prehistoric sites, medieval castles, Roman forts, as well as a few country houses. There are 2 different types of English Heritage Pass: the annual membership that's aimed mostly at locals, and the 9 or 16-day English Heritage Overseas Visitor Pass that is aimed at tourists. The annual membership doesn't cost much more than a 16-day pass, and it gives you access to over 400 English heritage properties, as opposed to the hand-picked selection of around 100 properties that the Overseas Visitor Pass lets you visit. The main attractions in London include Aspley House, Eltham Palace, and Wellington Arch, and it's not until you leave London that you get the real benefits from the English Heritage membership. English heritage properties outside London include Battle Abbey, Bolsover Castle, Carlisle Castle, Dover Castle, Fountains Abbey, Osborne House, Pendennis Castle, Ristormel Castle, Rievaulx Abbey, St Maur's Castle, Stonehenge, Tintagel Castle, and Whitby Abbey. It's reasonably priced at £82 for a 1-year membership or £66 for a 16-day overseas visitor pass, and you only need to visit Dover Castle and Stonehenge to earn back almost 2/3 of the value of your 1-year membership. National Trust membership is similar to English Heritage, but the focus is more on stately homes rather than castles. An annual National Trust membership costs £96. It's really geared towards locals who own a car and are able to make weekend trips to visit National Trust properties. While there are some beautiful National Trust properties that you can visit on a trip around England, the average tourist will get more value from an English Heritage membership. A Historic Houses membership costs £68 for a year, and just like an English Heritage or National Trust membership, it lets you visit affiliated properties. Historic Houses is a smaller organisation than English Heritage or the National Trust, but don't let that put you off, as there are some very impressive Historic Houses properties. Some of the places you can visit include Alnwick Castle, Belvoir Castle, the Bishop's Palace at Wells, Blenheim Palace, Burghley House, Harwood House, Hever Castle, Lowther Castle, and Sandringham. You can earn back the cost of your annual membership simply by visiting as few as 2 Historic Houses properties. While English Heritage and the National Trust own and maintain their own properties, Historic Houses properties are independently owned and operated. This means that there is a little less consistency in the overall visitor experience from one property to the next. But it also means that many of them are grand country houses that are still lived in as they were originally intended. This makes it a much more authentic experience, but as you're visiting someone's private home, some Historic Houses properties have more restricted opening hours, with some only open a couple of days each month. Last, but definitely not least, we've come to the National Art Pass. Also known as an art fund membership, the National Art Pass is focused on, you guessed it, art. For £83, the National Art Pass gives you a year of free or half-price entry to museums and art galleries around the country. While the focus is on art, the National Art Pass gives you much, much more. It comes with this book, listing all the places you can use it. It's not just restricted to art galleries, you also get access to an incredible number of museums as well as country houses and even a couple of palaces. Some of the places you can get free entry include Apsley House, the Bowes Museum, Bronte Parsonage Museum, Chatham Historic Dockyard, the Charles Dickens Museum in London, the Courtauld Gallery, Eltham Palace, the Handel Hendricks House, Leighton House, Lewes Castle, Osborne House, Portsmouth Historic Dockyard, the Royal Pavilion, Strawberry Hill House, Tynesfield, and the Yorkshire Sculpture Park. While it doesn't give you free entry everywhere, there are a lot of places where you can get in for half price, and these include several major attractions that might otherwise be too costly to consider visiting. Some of these include Bletchley Park, the Cutty Sark, Chatsworth, the Churchill War Rooms, Harwood House, HMS Belfast, the Painted Hall at the Old Royal Naval College, the Postal Museum, the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, and St Paul's Cathedral. The National Art Pass also gives you half-price admission to Kensington Palace if there's an exhibition on, although entry is free if there are no scheduled exhibitions. The National Art Pass is a great deal. You only need to visit the historic dockyards at Chatham and Portsmouth to earn back the cost of your annual membership. You can actually save even more than that, as the Art Pass is 25% off if you pay using direct debit. Now, while paying by direct debit requires a UK bank account, you get a UK bank account number with a multi-currency debit card like the Wise card. It's a really practical option for the average tourist too, since it covers such a broad range of attractions including everything from country houses and historic buildings to museums and art galleries. English heritage, historic houses and art fund memberships are all fantastic value, considering that they give you a full year of membership than less than the cost of a one-day London pass. There's a good chance that the National Art Pass is the pass for you. But the London Pass may work out for you too, as long as you're spending long enough in London to get at least a 5-day pass. Before buying any of these passes, work out your itinerary to see which places you would be prepared to visit if you're paying the full entry fee. Then check to see if these are included in any of these passes. If the cost of the pass is less than the cost of the individual entry fees, then it's no-brainer. Buy the pass.